Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and hello if you're new, welcome. Please make sure you subscribe before you leave, that would be amazing. So as you can tell from the title of this video, today I'm going to be comparing two palettes, and I think we have a pretty good kind of dupe situation on our hands for the Anastasia Soft Glam palette, which retails for £49. So this palette is expensive. She's almost £50, which for 12 eyeshadows, I think we can all agree is pretty pricey, but then again, it is a high-end brand. This for me is my kind of perfect palette because I feel like you can get such good glam looks with this, but also kind of really nice everyday looks. So I do actually really like this palette and I do use it a lot. The quality of the eyeshadows is amazing, they're pigmented and they blend really well. However, I recently discovered this palette, and this is the Revolution Reloaded Velvet Rose palette. So as you can see, we have very similar shades in this palette. So if I hold them kind of next to each other, you can see that every shade that you get in the Soft Glam palette, you get in the Revolution palette, and I think in the Revolution palette you even get one more shade. So the Revolution palette retails for £4, which obviously is super inexpensive. That's literally nothing for 15 eyeshadows. If you are on a budget and you do really like the shades that come in the Soft Glam palette, but you just can't justify the price, this could possibly be a very, very good dupe, and we're going to find that out together in this video. I have already filmed this video once, but it came out really shit, so I'm filming it again. So I have already used this palette before. In the first time I filmed it, I'd never used it, and now this is my second time using the palette, but I haven't used all of the shades, and I think I'm going to do a completely different look to what I previously filmed because that look was just a flop, hence why I'm filming it again. Enough with the talking, I'm just going to get straight on into the kind of video tutorial, whatever you want to call it. On this side of my face, so on this eye, I'm going to be using the Anastasia palette, and then on the other side I'm going to be using the Revolution palette, and I'm going to be using the kind of corresponding colours in the palette so that we can kind of get the same eye look on both eyes. The first shade that I'm going to use is this shade here. So as you can see, it's kind of an off mustardy colour. This colour is literally perfect for like a transition shade just to get us kind of started. So I'm just going to be fluffing that all throughout the crease of my eye, and just for reference, I have got a tiny bit of concealer on my eyes to prep, and also a little bit of translucent powder just to set that in place, but we haven't got like a proper eye primer or anything. I really love this shade. It's a really beautiful kind of yellowy mustardy orange. Obviously as well, I already have my base makeup on. If you wanted to see how I got my base makeup, then I did film it for a short Instagram video. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, go follow me over there because I post mini tutorials pretty much every single day. Okay, so now we've got that all in the crease. I'm quite happy with how that's looking. I'm going to go in with the Revolution palette, and the kind of corresponding colour would be this one here. It is ever so slightly more beige than yellow, but this is the most kind of similar one in the Revolution palette to the Anastasia. And just to make this test really fair, I'm just going to take a completely clean brush, so I'm not going to be using the same brush as I did on the other eye. Okay, so this shade is actually quite pigmented as well. It's definitely a little bit more orangey than the other Anastasia side, which is obviously a bit more yellow, but in terms of the actual shadow, it's blending out really nicely. It's giving us a nice kind of smooth transition colour, and yeah, I have no complaints about that, to be honest. So now what I'm going to do is go in with this shade here. So this is called Sienna from the Anastasia palette, and I'm going to build this up quite heavily in my crease, and then we're going to blend it out. I'm going to be taking this on a small Morphe brush. The Anastasia palettes, just in case you didn't know and you don't have them, they have a lot of kickback. So as you can see, as I'm putting my brush in there, there's a lot of kind of excess powder falling out, which isn't really something that bothers me, but it is something to note because you end up wasting quite a lot of product that way. So first of all, I'm going to be just pressing this on the outer corner, and I'm almost like pressing it and like stabbing my eye as opposed to swiping, because I really want this colour to be nice and pigmented. Then I'm just going to go in and get some more, and then like I said, I'm going to press this quite heavily throughout the crease of my eye. What I'm going to be doing now is taking a clean brush, the same brush I just used. I have 3 of these Morphe brushes because it's like literally my favourite brush. And I'm going to be taking this shade from the Revolution palette, which is the closest to Sienna that we have in the other palette. Okay, so as you can see on the Revolution side, this is ever so slightly more orange as opposed to the Anastasia side, which is definitely more kind of brown. So for that reason, I'm just going to go in with this shade here at the top, which I guess if you kind of mix these shades together, you almost get like a perfect sienna shade. But I mean, these shades are so pigmented, like honestly, for a £4 palette, you really wouldn't know. Okay, so this is what we have so far. Obviously I need to blend it, but as you can see, the pigmentation of both of the eyeshadows is amazing, and they've both gone on very, very smooth, and they're very similar colours as well. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the excess product off of my brush with a dry tissue, and I'm going to go back into that first shade we used, and I'm just going to be taking that ever so slightly on the edges of what we just done, just to blend that out. Just taking that first brush we used, and I'm just going to go over the edges even more. Okay, and now I'm going to do the exact same on the Revolution side. Okay, so this is the current situation that we have on the eyes. As you can see, they do look ever so slightly different now I've blended it. I feel like the Revolution blended quite easily, but as I was blending, some of the pigmentation was getting lost. Whereas on the Anastasia side, I feel like it was a little bit harder to blend possibly, but the pigmentation has really sort of stuck there and stayed. So I guess there's kind of like pros and cons to both palettes. As you can see, I just left the fallout that's on my cheek. So you can see I've got a little bit of fallout actually on both sides, probably a little bit more so on the Revolution side, but that's probably just going to be easily wiped off with a kind of powder brush. Now what I'm just going to do is I'm going to jump off camera and actually just cut my crease, because I want to do a cut crease for this look, because like I said, I really want to put these shadows to the test, so I want this to be quite a dramatic look. And the reason why I'm going to go off camera is because my camera is literally just about to die, so I'm going to charge my camera battery while I'm doing my cut crease, and then I'll come back to finish off the rest of the look. Okay, so I just cut my crease, as I said, off camera. It's really not the most even thing in the world, but it is what it is. So yeah, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to blend in the concealer with the eyeshadow that we put down. So I'm just going to go back into that same shade, which is Sienna from the Anastasia palette, and I'm just going to tap on a little bit more and kind of blend it in to that concealer. So I feel like we've got to use the gold really, haven't we? Because as well, there is a very similar gold in the Revolution palette that we can sort of use and test if there's any difference in the formula or what the formulas are like. So that's what I'm going to put on my cut crease. Shimmer shades are like known to go on better with your finger, so that's what I'm going to do to start off with, and then I will get to the kind of more trickier to reach bits with a brush. So I'm just going to take that gold shade from Revolution, and I can tell straight off the bat that this one is a lot more chunky. Like the glitter is going to be a little bit thicker, I think. Okay, so that is both of the gold shades on. They are very similar, but obviously, as I said earlier, you can see that the Revolution one is a lot more chunky and a little bit more textured than the Anastasia one, but I actually quite like that in a weird way. I feel like it gives the eye look a little bit more of a textured look, and it almost looks like you've used some kind of like foiled loose glitter over the top. So I actually feel like it does look really expensive. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is take this tiny little brush, and I'm going to go in with this shade here, which is next door to the black, so it's quite a dark kind of almost cool toned browny grey. I'm just going to take it on this little brush, and I'm just going to be pressing that kind of along the lash line on the outer corner, and I think I'm going to create like a smoky kind of liner with this. So now I'm going to go in with this shade from the Revolution palette, which is the most similar to what we just used. So as you can see on this side, that brown that we just used as smoky liner really wasn't that pigmented at all, and it was very difficult to actually build it, so you can barely see it. Whereas on the Anastasia side, it's a little bit more pigmented and it kind of stayed where I put it. What I am going to do now is just quickly jump off camera and do a winged liner, put a little bit of a lash on, and then I'm going to come back to finish up the under eyes. Okay, so we have a wing and we have some lashes on. So that is the look pretty much complete. I'm just going to do a little bit of something underneath the lash line just to pull it all together, and then I think we are done. So now I'm just going to go into this shade here, which is called Burnt Orange, and I'm just going to put this under my lash line. From the Revolution palette, I'm going to be taking this shade, which is the most similar to Burnt Orange. Now I'm just going to pop some mascara on my bottom lashes. So that is a look completed. As you can see, the eyes look very similar. I would say that if you're on a budget and you're looking for something that's very similar colours to the Soft Glam, then the Revolution one is a very good option. I don't think that it is as good quality and you can get as a nice look from this palette as you can with the Anastasia one. However, you can get a very, very similar effect. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually go and ask my mum what eye she prefers. So she doesn't know what I'm filming and she doesn't know what eye is what, so I'm literally just going to tell her that one eye is a £50 palette and the other eye is a £4. Tell me which one it is. So we're going to see if she can actually tell the difference, or if she can see that there's like a major difference in the eye looks. Right, so I'm going to ask you a question. Yeah?
Tell me what it is.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you it now. One of my eyes was created using a £4 palette and the other one was £50. What eye was it? What eye's which?
I say this one's the £50.
What, left? This one?
Yeah.
And you think this is £4?
Yeah.
This is the other way round.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. This is £4 Revolution and this is £50.
I wouldn't know.
Well, you think this looks more expensive?
Well, they both look good, but that one looks more... Oh, I couldn't tell any difference, to be honest.
Right, so that is the end of the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, then please be sure to give the video a thumbs up and also subscribe if you haven't already. That would be amazing. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.